morning, West Shore. I am Judy Montgomery, and this is Judy Marizon. We are your worship associates for today. From the UUA comes this welcome. Each of us has worth and dignity, and that worth includes our gender and our sexuality. As Unitarian Universalists, we not only open our doors to people of all sexual orientations and gender identities, we value diversity of sexual and gender and see it as a spiritual gift. We create inclusive religious communities and work for LGBTQ justice and equity as a core issue, a core part of who we are. All of who you are is sacred. All of who you are is welcome. Here are a few announcements I want to bring to your attention. One is about a beautiful annual tradition that we observe around this time of year, our beloved flower communion. Each person is invited to bring a flower, which they will exchange for a flower that another person brings. The ritual is simple, but the message is deep. Each and every one of us is beautiful. Each and every one of us matters. Come celebrate with us next Sunday. And now we have a very special announcement from your 8th Principal Task Force and Reverend Makar. Please come up, Task Force.
I am Susan Ballard, and I have created for you the weekly resource list on the West Shore website because I got the wrong. No, okay. Hi, I'm Susan Ballard. Remember that resource list, and you got it in the e-news too. We wanted you to be informed before the vote. So when we get there to vote, it's going to be a real short meeting.
Hi, I'm Linda New, and I created the timeline on the 8th Principal tab on our church website because we want both old and new members to be able to quickly view our lengthy history in the area of social justice.
I'm Mira Jomesh, and I basically created the packet that Susan is holding. It is a packet of information covering the questions that you probably have about this process. It is so you are clear, and we can have a quick meeting on Father's Day, June 19th.
I am Dorothy Fowler, and I have helped by being at our Rotunda or Baker Hall table to answer your questions. We've tried hard to clarify the issues and inform your vote now, not at the meeting. Get it? We know that the board is planning an efficient meeting.
And I'm Brian Gardner. I am the liaison from the board to the task force. I'm also going to be the incoming board president. And with the help of others, I wrote a letter that you're all going to receive, all members are going to receive, that is going to have an absentee ballot for voting this week. And it's going to be one of several methods of voting. And we are going to need a quorum on June 19th. And if you are ready, we are hoping for a very short meeting. And if you have voted by June 15th, you do not need to be present at the meeting. You can mail your ballot in or drop it in at a marked box at the church.
In this journey towards spiritual wholeness, we want you all to have an understanding that these are not the final words of the 8th principle. The UUA will decide that.
This is a journey to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community at West Shore. By voting for this principle, we are giving the intent, the essence of this principle toward action. as have 188 other UU congregations already, including UUCC in Shaker Heights and Akron UU.
This is a journey towards our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions, which will be defined by the board-appointed new group for West Shore.
This is a journey of change in ourselves and our institutions. We will change ourselves, our church, and our UU religion. Watch what some other churches are already doing, starting in the Rotunda today.
For their efforts. Oh, yeah. So I want to say that we have been doing this work for decades now. We have been doing this work for decades. We've got our Black Lives Matter sign that folks, thousands of folks every day are seeing. We are witnessing to the larger world that this work is important for us, central for us. Now is our chance to affirm this officially with your vote on June 19th. For all of us, it ought to be seen as a celebration, a rededication for all of us to this good work. So let's come together to recommit ourselves to this deeply spiritual work of love and justice. Once again, thank you so much for our task force folks.
Good morning again from me. For our chalice lighting, I'm going to read something that was created by Linda Lee Franson from the UUA website. It's called the Pride Flame. We light this flame to ignite our hearts and minds, to spark the knowledge that enlightens, to spark the knowledge of hope, the blazing love that engulfs all of our actions, the bonfire of our commitment. We light this flame for those who celebrate themselves, those who fear, those who hope, those who persevere. We light this chalice for those who have been ridiculed, that they may find peace, for those who have fought to marry, that they may celebrate, for those who live in uncertainty in our world, that they may have hope. We light this flame to renew our commitment that no one shall ever again suffer for the right to love. We light this flame. We light this flame to celebrate the kaleidoscope of diversity, working, loving, and living on the side of love. For this, we light this flame.
Let us now witness to the unity of our spirit by saying together our unison affirmation words. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia y el servicio su ley. Este es nuestro magnífico convenio. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad en el amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros.
Remembering the journey of freedom, The land we are on was once another's. We mourn the legacies of oppression. Healing is our way forward. Joy is the birthright of hope.
Thank you. Let us now greet each other as feels mutually comfortable. Please let the folks at home know that you're thinking about them by waving at them at the camera. They're waving back at you. Believe it. Let's greet each other right now. Folks, let's now sing our first hymn of the day. Let's sing our first hymn of the day. We are a gentle, angry people. Please rise in body or in spirit. We are a gentle, angry people. We're going to sing that right now. Gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing one our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing for So do you believe it that we're singing for our lives? Do you believe it? On this Pride Sunday, we are proud to tell the story of a book that has been mentioned in numerous censorship and culture war debates on same-sex marriage, adoption, and homosexuality in animals. The American Library Association reports that And Tango Makes Three was the most frequently challenged book from 2006 to 2010, and the second most frequently challenged book in 2009. Ultimately, it became the fourth most banned book between 2000 and 2009, as well as the sixth most banned book between 2010 and 2019. What is this book all about that it's got to be banned? And Tango Made Three has also won numerous awards, including the ALA Notable Children's Book nominee in 2006, the ASPCA Henry Berg Book Award in 2005, and was named one of the Bank Street Best Books of the Year in 2006. This banned book, And Tango Makes Three, was written by Justin Richardson and Peter Parnell, illustrated by Henry Cole. Judy Marizan and Judy Montgomery are going to share this story with you in just a moment, but right now, let's practice some sound effects. You are going to help in the telling of this story. Just 3 sound effects. When you see this sign, sound of kids playing, what does that sound like? So, I wake up in the middle of the night wondering if worship is going to work, or if the thing that I've planned to do, is that going to work? But when you got an April Stoltz in the crowd right there, you just figured it out. So once again, all right, here's number 2, sounds of the zoo. That's right. It's good. There is no wrong answer here, okay? So some of you are looking perplexed. So just like, I don't know, your favorite animal. Okay, sounds of the zoo. So when you see that, make sounds of the zoo. These guys are just going to be reading. I'm going to be doing that. Okay, here's the next one. This is the most important one of all. Sounds of being in love. Elizabeth Jarenser. Elizabeth will be all like... That's actually pretty good. That's a great sound. Okay, one more time. Ready? Just... Good. Some of you are like, oh, which is great. So you just make it up. That sounds all fantastic. And now, Tango Makes Three.
In the middle of New York City, there is a great big park called Central Park. Children love to play there. It has a carousel ride in the summertime. It has a toy boat pond, also where they can sail boats. It has an ice skating rink to skate in the winter. Skating.
Best of all, it has its very own zoo. Every day, families of all kinds go to visit the animals that live there. But children and their parents aren't the only families at the zoo. The animals make families of their own. There are red panda bear families with monkeys and with mothers and fathers, and furry red panda bear cubs. There are monkey dads and monkey moms raising noisy monkey babies. There are toad families and toucan families and cotton-top tamarin families too. And in the penguin house, there are penguin families. Every year at the very same time, the girl penguins start noticing the boy penguins, and the boy penguins start noticing the girl penguins. When the right girl and the right boy find each other, they become a couple.
2 penguins in the penguin house were a little bit different. One was named Roy, and the other was named Silo. Roy and Silo were both boys, but they did everything together. They bowed to each other, they walked together, they sang to each other, and swam together. Wherever Roy went, Silo went too. They didn't spend much time with the girl penguins, and the girl penguins didn't spend much time with them. Instead, Roy and Silo wound their necks around each other. Their keeper, Mr. Gramsci, noticed the two penguins and thought to himself, they must be in love.
Roy and Silo watched how the other penguins made a home, so they built a nest of stones for themselves. Every night, Roy and Silo slept there together, just like the other penguin couples. And every morning, Roy and Silo woke up together. But one day, Roy and Silo saw that the other couples could do something they could not. The mama penguin would lay an egg. She and the papa penguin would take turns keeping the egg warm until finally it would hatch, and then there would be a baby penguin.
Roy and Silo had no egg to sit on to keep warm. They had no baby chick that they could feed and cuddle and love. Their nest was nice, but a little empty. One day, Roy found something that looked like what other penguins were hatching, and he brought it to their nest. It was only a rock, but Silo carefully sat on it and sat and sat. When Silo got sleepy, he slept. And when Silo was done sleeping and sitting, he swam, and Roy sat. But day after day, Silo and Roy sat on the rock, and nothing happened.
But then Mr. Gramsci got an idea. He found an egg that needed to be cared for, and he brought it to Roy and Silo's nest. Roy and Silo knew just what to do. They moved the egg to the center of their nest, and every day they turned it so each side stayed warm. Some days Roy sat while Silo went for food. Other days it was Silo's turn to take care of their egg. They sat in the morning and they sat at night. They sat through lunchtime and swim time and supper. They sat at the beginning of the month and they sat at the end of the month. And they sat all of the days in between.
Until one day, they heard a sound coming from inside their egg. Beep, 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 beep. It said, Roy and Silo called back, squawk, squawk, peep, peep, and they answered the egg. Suddenly, a tiny hole appeared on the egg shell, and then, crack! Out came their very own baby. She had a fuzzy white feathers and a funny black beak. Oh, sorry. She had fuzzy white feathers and a funny black beak. Now, Roy and Silo were fathers. We'll call her Tango, Mr. Gramsci decided, because it takes two to make a tango.
Roy and Silo taught Tango how to sing to them when she was hungry. They fed her food from their beaks. They snuggled her in their nest at night. Tango was the very first penguin in the zoo to have two daddies. Soon, Tango grew strong enough to leave the nest. Roy and Silo took her for a swim, just like all the other penguin families. And all the children who came to the zoo could see Tango and her two fathers playing in the penguin house with the other penguins. Hooray, Roy! Hooray, Silo! Welcome, Tango, they cheered.
At night, the three penguins returned to their nest. There they snuggled together, and like all the other penguins in the penguin house, and all the other animals in the zoo, and all the families in the big city around them, they went to sleep. The end.
Good morning. We drink from wells that we did not dig. We profit from persons we did not know. Together, we are more than any one person can be. Together, we can heed the call to a ministry of care and justice. We've currently received $454,000, closer to our goal of $625,000. If you could please complete your pledge soon, so the programs and work of this church can be determined for next year.
And if you're born to be wild, celebrate the end of our Jubilee year and pledge drive and bop till you drop at the Decades Dance, June 17th. Check your wallet, Anthony. June 17th from 6 to 9, we'll have pizza, salad, sweets, and beverages. Put another dime in the jukebox, baby, or just buy a 50-50 raffle ticket to be drawn at the Decades Dance. Starting today, you can purchase your tickets to win some extra summer cash. Suzanne Rusnak will be out at the Jubilee table. Or you can purchase on Realm. Proceeds from this raffle will go toward the dance and other events coming up at church. Sign up, buy your raffle tickets today, and consider signing up to help, too. We can use some volunteers. Summer's here, and the time is right for dancing in Baker Hall. Whoa! I'm glad I didn't grab the monkey.
This is Outreach Offering Sunday, which is how our congregation can express its support for local organizations which are doing great work in the world. This Sunday's recipient has been chosen by our Queer and Allies group, Margie's Hope. Margie's Hope is dedicated to assisting transgender and non-binary people in need. They have a number of groups for those who need help, for their families and friends, and also a group for trans youth. One is called Margie's Closet, a gender-inclusive, mutually beneficial, and community-supported clothing store located in Studio West 117, a new hub for the LGBTQ community located in Lakewood. Another group is called Trans Alive, a support group for transgender, non-conforming, and non-binary individuals and their loved ones and friends, facilitated by transgender individuals themselves. It offers support, guidance, and resources to all those who come. Margie's Hope makes all of this possible. They are making hope possible. Please give generously to this worthy cause. The morning's offering will now be given and gratefully received. and tango makes three. It is one beautiful story, a sweet story, a story that pretty much nails it on the head about love, the preciousness of love, no matter where it happens or to whom, whether penguins or people. But this book, since being published in 2005, has topped the American Libraries Association 10 most challenged book list. A parent complains that it is anti-family or pro-homosexuality or goes against the Bible or something else. And a library director moves the book to the nonfiction section, where it is said the book is less likely to blindside anyone. It is all true, by the way. It is nonfiction. Or the book is banned out of the library completely, and a memo comes out explaining why. First goes the memo. It is a picture book that focuses on homosexuality. Second, we did not feel that such information was vital to primary students. Next, we did not believe the book would stimulate growth in ethical standards, and the book is too controversial, unquote. Wow, right? Say that with me. Wow. So when did an appreciation of diversity become irrelevant and not vital to primary students, some of whom may have two daddies, right? Or two mommies? When did growth in mutual understanding or compassion become separate from a growth in ethical standards? And when did controversy become a sign that indicated something unworthy of exploration in an educational environment? The absurdity of it all makes me think of a sign posted outside of a New York City restaurant, which I saw one time, which went, "If you don't like gay marriage, blame straight people. They're the ones who keep on having gay babies." Right? Oh, yeah, that's right. Amen. The situation with the banned book, however, is actually quite mild compared to the intensity of the ignorance, the cruelty, the prejudice, the violence that can be out there. We know it only too well. Just one very public example is what happened to Matthew Shepard on October 6th, 1998, and I'm not going to get explicit about that because people of all ages are in this space, but I do want to say that on the 15th anniversary of that tragic event, Fox News contributor Sandy Rios made the horrific claim that it wasn't true. It was a total fraud and a fairy tale, I'm quoting her, used as propaganda by LGBTQ activists. It was part of a long-term conspiracy by liberals, you know who you are, to create a society that was accepting of gay people. That's Sandy Rios saying that. Now that's ridiculous, isn't that not ridiculous? It is ridiculous where people can go in their heads, where they can go in their heads when confronted with something that does not necessarily conform to their sense of the way things ought to be. And it is tragic above all when we remember what is at the core of this whole thing, what is at the core of this banned picture book, which does so well to illustrate. They bowed to each other and walked together. They sang to each other and swam together. Wherever Roy went, Silo went too. That's what we're really talking about. Committed love relationships between mature adults who have chosen to be together. Something infinitely sweet to cherish and be cherished is the most amazing thing in this world. And every day, people suffer and even die from the unfulfilled longing of it. Gay and straight. Wherever we see such cherishment in our world, the reverse of banning it ought to be our mission. Our mission ought to be to stand up and cheer. Our mission ought to be to stand back and say, that is God. If anything's close to God manifesting in our world, it is cherishment, it is love, whether in penguins or in people, whether gay or straight. It is God made manifest. It is holy. It is sacred. It is the mystery, capital M. It is divine. How dare anyone ban that? Give me the sound of love again. Oh, yeah, I'm missing the... Come on, guys. I want to tell you about Glennon Doyle Melton. Glennon Doyle Melton, she's a parent who wants her children to know that whoever they love, that's okay. They are fundamentally okay, even if it's just like the love of those two penguins at Central Park Zoo. And I better make sure, she says, and I better make sure that my children know beyond the shadow of a doubt that in God's eyes, in their Father's eyes, in my eyes, they are okay. They are loved as they are, without a single unless. Because the kids who bully are those who are afraid that a secret part of themselves is not okay. To that end, she says, I wrote this letter to my son, and I'm going to quote just a part of that letter. Dear Chase, whoever you are, whatever you become, you are loved. You are a miracle. You are our dream come true. Chase, here is what would happen in our home if one day you were to tell your father and me that you are gay. Well, our eyes would open wide. Then we would grab you and hold you tighter than you would be able to bear. And while we were holding you, we would say a silent prayer that as little time as possible passed between the moment you knew you were gay and the moment you told us. And we would love you and ask you a million questions. And then we would love you some more. And then finally, we would go out and rush out there and we would buy some rainbow t-shirts, honey. That's what we would do. Rainbow flags. Because you know that mama likes to have an appropriate outfit for every occasion. That's the letter. Back in 2013, when the Supreme Court overturned the Defense of Marriage Act, which defined marriage as a union between one man and one woman, I received a call from a reporter who wanted to know about Unitarian Universalism's stand on gay rights. What does Unitarian Universalism have to say about it? Here's what I said in a nutshell. First, I said what I said a moment ago about how committed love relationships, whether between penguins or people, whether straight or gay, it's God made manifest in our world. Unitarians believe in love. We stand on the side of love. If I was talking to that reporter today, I'd probably also say something extremely tacky about members of Congress, how perhaps they're not getting enough love. And maybe that's why things are so screwed up in Washington. But now my second point I made to the reporter. I talked about how Unitarian Universalists have been supporting gay rights for a long time now. Gay rights as human rights as gay rights. As just an example, in 1970, the Unitarian Universalist Association passed a general resolution urging people to immediately bring an end to all prejudice against gays and lesbians and bisexuals. In that same year, it also called for lifting the ban prohibiting gays and lesbians from serving in the U.S. military. Then, in 1996, transgender was added to the name of the UUA's office overseeing all of this. It became known as the Office of Bisexual, Gay, Lesbian, and Transgender Concerns. I said all this, and then I told that reporter a third thing, how I sincerely believe that we Unitarian Universalists are far more faithful to the Hebrew and Christian scriptures than our so-called Bible-based opponents are. Our so-called Bible-based opponents are the Jerry Falwells, the Sandy Rioses, who are interviewed on Fox News. Kind of unministerly, but I don't care. Did you know there are 7 explicit passages in the Bible, Old Testament to New, that supposedly condemn homosexuality? But the fact is, none seem to actually be talking about committed love relationships between people of the same sex. None are talking about that. Scholars will tell you that these 7 passages are probably talking about ritual forms of sex that occurred in the religions outside of Judaism and Christianity, and Jewish and Christian leaders wanted their followers to stay far away from that sort of stuff, far away from those religious rituals. Stay pure, the leaders wanted to say to their flock. But you know what we're talking about today? We're not talking about religious rituals. We're not talking about things that you can put on and take off like a set of clothes. We are talking about identity, what people are born as, the manner of one's loving, how the manner of one's loving flows out of that identity just so very naturally. And then I mentioned this, a curiously and astonishingly neglected passage in the Christian scriptures, in which a Roman centurion, soldier, a Roman centurion comes to Jesus and asks Jesus to heal his pais. That's the Greek word, pais, P-A-I-S. Now that word is normally translated as servant or slave. But then what I said to the reporter is that that translation is actually incorrect. It covers over the reality of what is happening in that moment between the centurion and Jesus. Back in Jesus' time, back in the time of that Roman centurion, that word pais, whenever that word pais was used, it was used to refer, listen, it was used to refer to the younger partner in a same-sex relationship. Oh yeah. In other words, the centurion was in a homosexual relationship with the slave who was dear to him. That language is in the scriptures. Well, you better believe that slave was dear to him because they were in a homosexual relationship, a same-sex loving relationship. And guess what else? Jesus was willing to heal the centurion's gay lover. Jesus bragged on the centurion's faith. There was no condemnation at all from Jesus. I saw one of those fake Bible preachers there at the Pride Parade yesterday where I got my face burnt off. I saw one of those fake preachers, and he was saying fake things. He didn't know what he was talking about. People were listening to him like he knew what he was talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. There was no banning by Jesus of that love between the centurion and his lover. I told that reporter, we UUs are the ones who are doing the Bible justice, not those who thump it like crazy, that come across like they think they know what they're talking about. And you know what? That reporter was stunned. That reporter was stunned by the sorts of things that I was telling her, as if she could not believe that a church like ours existed, as if she was mortified that she might have been reading the Bible completely wrong all her life, as if it amazed her that you could be a person of faith and affirm that LGBTQ people are as normal and as beautiful as a spring day. It continues to be so very painful to hear of the ignorance and cruelty and the violence out there surrounding this issue. It is so hard as a straight but not narrow ally, to hear so many in the world say that same-sex relationships don't count or shouldn't even exist. That is so hard to hear. My very best friend in all the world is gay. I've told you about him before. The thought of anyone saying anything, or doing anything hateful to him just tears me up. But I do find consolation in something, comfort, I do. It's in something Harvey Milk once said. He said, bust down those closet doors once and for all, and stand up and start to fight. We can do something about the hate, the prejudice, the violence. It gets better as we make it better. It is books like And Tango Makes Three that remind us of the essence of what is really trying to happen here. Love. Let love happen. Let God happen. It's parenting like that of Glennon Doyle Melton. Whoever you are, she says to her child, whoever you become, you are loved. You are a miracle. You are our dream come true. And what's unfortunate is I know there's a lot of folks who are here right now or they're at home and they never heard those words of love from the people they depended on and trusted to love them. They never heard those words. So, you know, our job is to say those words. Do you hear me? We have a job in this world. A moment ago, you heard Carol and Karen ask you to be generous in your pledging. That's just not for fun. We got a job to do. We have to empower it with our resources. If you never heard those words of love, if you never had a Glennon Doyle Melton write you this beautiful letter, you hear these words of love from us. We are a religion that never stops saying words of love to our people. Whoever we are, whoever we become, we are loved. We are a miracle. We are a dream come true. That is what our religion says to us. That is what we need to say to each other. That is what this church is all about. Yeah. Let's sing our closing hymn for the day. Sing out praises for the journey. Number 295. Please rise in body or in spirit.
Please join me in saying our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the flame of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry with us until we meet again.
Thank you for folks who've made their annual pledge on or before May 31st. As we have announced for the past several weeks, your name has gone into a drawing for one of two things: tickets to a Cleveland Guardians baseball game and a spa package. Karen and Carol, would you please come on up and help us with the drawing? Here we go. All right. So Karen is going to draw the ticket for the baseball.
Woohoo!
For the baseball. Here we go.
All right.
She's looking at me. There's no cheating happening up here.
Oh, okay. Can I read it?
Yes, sure.
Tim Smith.
So that's 2 baseball tickets, goes to Tim Smith. All right, here's the next drawing. This is for the spa package. All right, Carol, here we go. Now, Karen was looking straight at my eyes there. No cheating up here. No voter fraud.
Bruce and Karen Auer.
All right.
Oh! Okay, let me have these. I'll take these. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Your annual pledges, the lifeblood of this community, vitamins to our soul. Thank you so much for your generosity. And now, our benediction words from Carl Seberg. Between the dawn and the dusk of our being, let us be brave. Let us be courageous and loving. In our little passage through the light, let us sustain and forward the human compassionate venture in gentleness, in service, and in thought and deed. So may it be. Go in peace.